Hey, everybody, this is Jimmy, and welcome to season 2 of Everything Under the Sun. I'm so glad you're all here to join us today. Before we get going, I want to give a special shout out to Tony Herman and Fresh Air Entertainment and his entire staff, Jeff, Jimmy C, and our new employee, Brian Jump. How's it going, Brian?
Good.
All right. Also, if you like what you hear or you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and hit your notifications button. It's right there on the right hand part of your screen. And that'll let you know about all our upcoming shows. And we have some great ones coming up for you. But we're starting off season 2 with one of my favorites. I'm so honored to have her here today. She is a powerful voice and female voice in the Dayton music scene. She's on the up and coming. You'll be hearing a lot of things from her. Please welcome to Everything Under the Sun, Sammy King. How's it going, Sammy?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Always, always. We talked before. I've known you for a very long time,
Yes.
before you could drive.
Yeah.
Uh, that's crazy. Um, and you have a new album coming out
Yeah.
and you just released your latest single, which is called,
Oh, yeah. South Park came out in January.
and it's been doing very well, and it's on all the
Oh,
streaming
thank
services,
you.
correct?
It is, yeah.
Cool, cool. We'll get more into that in a little bit. Just get that out of the way. So when we were talking earlier, you said that before you picked up the guitar, one of the things that you learned was the piano. Was
Yeah.
that what you wanted to play when you got started?
I think I just had access to it. We had like this little battery powered Casio that I would like tinker on and plunk away at. Um, and had some books and, just tried to learn and pick out any notes of songs that I loved. And I did a few lessons and I hated it. My mom took me to a local church and great teacher. I just couldn't stop fidgeting. Wanted to
Right.
play all the keys, and I was only allowed to play one at a time. And so I just kind of kept tinkering at home for a while, and didn't get my first guitar until I was like seventh grade, for Christmas.
Mm. Do you know how old you were when you wrote your first song?
14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to your musical writing, who influences you when it comes to that? Like, what made you feel your love of your music?
Man, I mean, so the summer before my eighth grade year, my dad and my mom gave me their old like record collection from college, and my mom's old like turntable and stereo system from her dorm room. And I had that all set up, and I went through tons of records and gravitated towards the obvious, like Bob Dylan, because my dad, you know, was always listening to Dylan or America or, David Crosby. But my grandmother gave me this, she gave me a bookends tape, Simon and Garfunkel,
Yeah.
and I fell madly in love with especially Paul Simon. And that's when I really decided I wanted to learn how to play guitar, and I wanted to take those poems I was scribbling in notebooks when I was supposed to be doing my homework, and try to make something that felt a little bit more authentic, like a more fully what I was trying to accomplish with writing.
Yeah.
So
Well, did you want to be, well, at the beginning, did you want to be a songwriter, or did you want to be a musician, songwriter, or did you just want to be a musician?
I think I just wanted to sing.
That's
I
cool.
I think I just wanted to sing anything and everything. And um I remember sitting and trying to copy like runs note for note, or try to figure out how low I could get my voice to go, or that's all I wanted to do. It wasn't until probably 14, 15 that I started to understand that songwriting was even something that I could do.
Right.
Scribbling poems just didn't, for whatever reason, equate to becoming a songwriter. It was not something that people would want to hear or listen to. Um, but being able to do that and then choose what I was singing about, I think helped me develop into a singer that I wanted
Right.
to, rather than emulating somebody else's voice.
You just had to find yourself.
I guess.
And it took you a little while, but you did.
Still working on it, but yeah.
Well, I think every singer is still working on finding themselves. They don't truly find themselves. Um, my thing is when I first heard you, like I said, you were 15. I heard you on a CD,
Yeah.
just you and your guitar. Um, I was very. It wasn't necessarily the subject matter of the songs. It was your soulfulness, the way you got it is what got me.
Thank you.
Um, was there a point when you were writing and you were playing where you were like, okay, I think I can do this? Do you remember that point where you're like, I think I can do this. I think I got this.
Ooh, maybe halfway through a show at your Shakedown show. I don't think um, I
Well,
mean,
that was a little easier. Your whole family was there. It was pretty easy to get through that. But did you have a moment where you were just, after like, because I mean, just that moment, like where before that, where you're like, this
hmm,
song's pretty good. I know what I'm doing here.
um, gosh, I don't know. I think in part we're all still like waiting for that moment a little bit. Like there's always part of that that hasn't clicked, maybe. At least for me. But I remember writing my first song and playing it for my dad and being terrified because my dad has exceptional taste in music and he's also the most honest man I know. And so he has a gentle grit about him, right? That I knew if the song was shit, frankly, he
Yeah.
would let me know how and when I could work on that. In the most loving way, right? But that he always wanted us to be and do our best. And we were camping and I had my guitar with me and I played him that song and he walked out and brought back like three or four like very trusted friends that were with us and asked me to play the song for them and I remember like being in tears because I was so nervous. Um but my dad loved it. And I knew he would like love anything that we did, but that he was like semi proud enough of it that he thought it was worth being listened to by other adults that I had a lot of respect for. Um, I think that. I think if that experience had been a negative one, I don't know that I would have wanted to continue writing songs that people would hear. But he was proud of it.
Well, like I said, the first time I heard it, I was walking through a party and I heard your music playing over the CD player, and I literally stopped in my steps where I was and said, "Who is that?"
Oh
And I want to
man.
book her. And your dad, the pride was like, "That's my daughter."
Oh.
So that's what I remember about meeting your dad the first time. So that was. Have you gotten used to it since then? So you're kind of. It sounds to me like you're kind of. As long as your dad likes it, you don't really care what anybody else thinks.
I mean, I'll always I'll always have that like view of pop for sure. But I have a little bit I think more of a well-rounded uh measuring system for what constitutes a successful writing pursuit now. But I still want him to like it for sure.
Yeah, do you still play the songs for him before you play it for anybody else, or do you play for your daughters?
I think it depends on the nature of the song or the subject matter. I have kind of a panel, if you will, of, you know, here's what I'm thinking, here's the vision for it, here's what I was going for. Also, a trusted panel that I can leave enough out and see kind of what they get out of it because that's the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
There's only so far you can take it if it's I want to accomplish this, but the measuring stick has more become can somebody else get something out of it the way that I get something out of the songs that I love. So there are different people for different subject matters. Yeah.
Have you ever had a time where your panel went, you know what, Sammy, and you went, you know what, I don't care, I like the song, I'm playing it. Have you ever had that moment where you're like, you know what, you guys, I'm doing what I want to do? Have you ever had that moment?
um I think that there's always a different gravitational pull for different people. So I've certainly gotten more enthusiastic feedback on some songs than others, depending on who you're talking to. Um, I write a lot of slow, sad songs. I'm not a slow, sad person all the time. But yeah, I certainly get a lot or have gotten for a few songs like gonna write like a happier tune or from, from certain people. But ultimately, I think I send it to people that I trust the feedback. And so um if I move forward, it's with a graceful understanding of I took at least their feedback into consideration. I hope.
Right. Well, to me, your new song is a slow song, but it's so much different than what you were writing 5 years ago,
Yeah.
6 years ago. So
Thank
you
you.
are growing in
Thank
that, and
you.
I think that's very cool. Um, Besides Shakedown, have you ever had that moment where that first time in front of a crowd where you were like, they like me? I'm
Ooh.
I'm doing good. Do you remember that moment? Because every musician has that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing at Canal Street. The Works had invited me to come do a set, and then they learned one of my songs. So I was sitting with Norman, and he was showing me some stuff on keys, and um we co-wrote a bridge for a song, and he was like, "Would you want to play this with the band?" Um which blew my mind because I was a big The Works fan, and um that was a that was a terrifying moment for sure. But to be able to play at Canal Street and then play a song with them, and Johnny Neal was there that night playing keys, which he's a
Right.
hero, a hero of mine. So, and people were engaged and vibing on something that I was a part of, that I got to create on stage. I think um that moment made me want to play shows for sure.
Yeah. That'd be very cool. Johnny Neal is a very interesting character.
Yes. So
Very interesting
talented.
character. Yes, he still is. Um, well, that's very cool. So, like you said, you took some years off.
Yeah.
What made you decide? I don't know how long have you been working on the new album? How long have you? Because I know you did that little tour with Black Jacket Symphony, which we'll
Yes.
talk to, which was an all Pink Floyd tour, right?
Yeah.
And then you're getting ready to head out with them again, and you're going to do 20 cities, and then you're going to take some time off and then go out to California for a while with them, right?
We'll hit California and a few other states when we head out west. Yeah.
That's very cool. So,
Thanks, man.
we'll talk about that later. I jump ahead sometimes.
You're cool.
How when you started writing this album, what made you decide? Hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my stuff down. I'm going to write an album. How long did it take? We'll get. Where'd you record it? We'll get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So I took some years off. I have two daughters, and I would play around the house or write, but I didn't sing out anywhere for, well, probably 5, 6 years. And I wrote a song for my eldest daughter called Homeward, which will be on the upcoming album. And it started as a poem, and over the course of a year, kind of fleshed out into being an entire song. And about 2 years ago, I met Patrick Himes and a slew of other wonderful humans in the Dayton music community, and he owns Real Love Recording Company. And I had written a few other songs after I wrote Homeward, and about various experiences, but they were all written in the last, 2.5, 3 years. So I went into work with him, and then COVID hit. Not much later. So we've been working on the album longer than I had originally anticipated on working on it. But I think through that experience, I've been able to write more, and hopefully even write better. So the hope is for that album to come out next fall. And there will be, 8, 9 songs on it. But between meeting Patrick, meeting other local artists, especially female artists, it's such an incredibly supportive community that I feel incredibly grateful and fortunate to have stepped into. People like Chris Blake and Amber Hargett, Heather Redman, David Payne, people that have just really embraced me as an artist and as a human, as a friend. Um, it's been a really killer experience. So I've been able to write over the past, 2.5 years. There have been some seasons
Right.
for the girls and I, and this album's a little bit about that.
That's very cool. I was just getting ready to talk to you about the music scene. I think Dayton. I will tell anybody that I will fight them that the Dayton music scene is just as good as any music scene in the country.
Yeah, I
We're
have to
all very
agree.
supportive. I'm not a musician. You guys are all very supportive of each other. We have one guy here from the music scene, Charlie Tipton. Tony's a music scene guy at
Yeah.
Dayton. Uh, Try to explain to the people this music scene. You were getting into it a little bit, but explain what, like you said, it does mean everything because we're always sticking up for each other. We're always helping each other, right?
Yeah.
It's just, go a little deeper into that if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I, 3.5 years ago, stepped into South Park Tavern for the first time after having played there 10 years ago, saying, I just want to see live music again and maybe hopefully play a show somewhere. It's been years. And I became great friends with people right off the bat, which is only indicative of what a warm and welcoming community the Dayton music scene is. Like, I showed up by myself, ate an extra large veggie pizza to myself, 3 PBRs, and read a book at the bar, and somehow managed to walk out with multiple friends. Um, Only because these incredibly talented people also just happen to be so inviting and so supportive and so community oriented.
Right.
There's such an iron sharpens iron sense about the way different bands and artists interact in Dayton that I wish was unlike, or it wasn't unlike any other, scene. But I know that that's not true. I know that that's pretty unique to our area.
Yes, it is.
And I'm really grateful for it. There's so much collaboration that happens, even if just behind the scenes. And there's so much support and encouragement that goes on between booking shows, recording, writing together, whatever. You just never hear of anything other than, goodness perpetuating more goodness. And that's a really killer thing to witness, but it's a pretty surreal thing to get to participate in even a little.
And that's also the thing too is how the women in this town
Oh
for
yeah.
singers basically to me are the driving force of this and how they are, because there's a lot of communities you go to where the female singers might not be as welcomed into the scene.
Yeah.
And then this scene just seems that that's the way it is, and that's you guys all stick up for each other. Like I said, when Sharon Lane was here, we haven't mentioned Sharon yet, but when Sharon Lane was here,
The
she
fairy
brought you up.
godmother
Yeah, she brought
of
you.
rock and roll, as Heather Redmond says.
Yeah, she is. She's like what I call her, Mama Bear. I call
Oh
her Mama
yeah.
Bear. But she brought you up and she brought Chris Blank up. When Chris
Mhm.
Blank was here, she brought you up and all these
Oh
other
yeah.
women. I just think the music scene is very cool in this town.
Oh yeah.
You want to sing a song?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. Well, go ahead and explain to us what the song's going to be,
Okay.
and go ahead and let you get ready.
Sure.
While we're sitting here, guys, Facebook, Samantha J. King on Facebook, if you want to check her out there. That's your
Or
entertainment page, right?
yeah, well, so Sam King Music
Sam King Music, sorry.
is Facebook, and then Sam J King Music on Instagram.
Sam, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm hooked here. So I think I'll
You need some
play.
help there?
No, I'm good. Sorry about that.
You're a little caught up there, right down
am I?
there.
There it is.
Hey,
Sorry,
everybody,
Tony.
let's hear it for Tony Herman. Woo!
Thanks, buddy.
The man behind the scenes.
I wrote this song about a year ago. It's called Moonlit Woman, and it's about a number of things, but it's mainly about making life choices. That it's about a woman who makes life choices that she maybe no longer feels are in line with her authentic self, and it uses some imagery from Salem times of how a woman can feel when community, perceives her challenging what might be considered the most appropriate societal purpose. It's called Moonlit Woman, and we're gonna capo it.
Sammy King.
I'm gonna tune because we care. Caught in the middle between fighting with all of her might to shoulder the shoe and do what she could to tidy that bed of lies. But she walks in the evening, a moonlit woman in black, a prisoner of promise and purpose, conjuring the spirit she gave back. So if you think you're leaving, and if the pain feels more like breaking, and if you feel like you can play the part, make sure you take more than your broken heart. Caught in the middle between the truth and a fiddle, sing or hang like the moon. She saw in their eyes, she called a spirit to rise, 'cause her end, it was coming soon. 'Cause she walks in the evening, a moonlit woman in black, a prisoner of promise and purpose, conjuring the spirit she gave back. So if you think you can't leave it, and if the pain feels more like breaking, and if you feel like you can play a part, make sure you take more than your broken heart. Make sure you take more than your broken heart.
Woo! Come on, you gotta clap for that.
Thank
Woo!
you.
If you didn't hit the subscribe button to my show after that, you don't have, you're deaf. All right, that's simply put it.
Thank you.
Sammy,
Thank
that
you.
just made me tear up.
Oh
That
gosh.
was beautiful.
Thank you.
I just Dayton women right there. We got to take a break, but we're gonna come back with more with Sammy Joe. Okay, I'm sorry, Sammy King.
I love it. No,
Sammy Joe is how I know her. All right, you heard her. Come back for more. This is Everything Under the Sun.